that's not being told. The story of Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria. The world has condemned it as the occupied West Bank. Could it be the biblical and historical heartland of Israel? Hear the miraculous stories of true pioneers who have dedicated their lives to the restoration of this land. Discover what's being hidden by mainstream news and media. Experience extraordinary places that few people even know exist. Join us for the Joshua and Caleb Report. Stories from the heartland of Israel. Well, hey guys, this is Joshua and Caleb with the Joshua and Caleb Report. We are stoked about today's episode, and not really sure why, other than the fact this guy's name is Ben Goldstein, and we've never met him before. He's a security guy, an amazing defender of the heartland of Israel, and we're going to check him out.
He seems like an amazing guy. I can't wait to meet him. It's gonna be exciting. Seems like kind of an adventurous fellow, if I could, from what I've seen. So.
Pleasure to meet you.
I was wondering if it was Goldstein or Goldstein.
Well, we're all felt like a golf program anyway. Boys, pleasure to meet you. Why don't y'all follow me? I want to get everybody up to the top. I want to explain to you where you are.
Sounds great.
Roll from there. So I'm Ben Goldstein. I'm a 40-year-old married father of 3.
That's awesome.
Originally from Tennessee.
That is awesome, and we've got this in common. That's what even makes it a friendship better.
We're good old Tennessee boys, so we know what that's like. And being out here, you really feel connected to the land of Israel. As you've noticed, as y'all drove from where you came from, you drive in Israel, basically it's a microcosm of the world. You have all climates.
Yeah.
You came up around 800 meters to get here. And you really go from an area of urban, of city, of hustle and bustle, to as right now, all you hear is the wind. And it's just magnificent, which is one of the reasons why I chose here. A little sidebar, when we were buying our house out here, I pointed out to my wife, I said, hey honey, if you look out in the hills, you'll probably see sheep and shepherds. And as I said that, just on cue, a bunch of sheep walked by. So the biblical aspect as to where we live right now isn't something that I ever forget any minute of the day.
That's awesome. So we should go to the next spot and check out this other location. You said you got some more spots to show.
We have an incredible spot to come through. Let's go there now. I'll show you everything.
Absolutely.
I'm not even a tour guide.
So you want to follow in the car?
Yeah. Why don't you come with me in here? If y'all
I'm
want.
taking that spot.
Come on now. And then on the way back, you take that spot. We're standing on the site right now that was the site 2,500 years ago during the Second Temple period. There wasn't necessarily settlement on this site itself. It was more of a walking path from Hebron, Beersheba, all the places that we read about hundreds of times in the Bible. It was a walking path that took the Jewish nation directly through the high holidays, right before the high holidays, with their sacrifices and all their golden wear and all the beautiful clothing they would wear, all the way to the obviously from here around 17, 18 kilometers. But this area right here, this is where the ritual bath is, the mikveh as we call it. And what makes this a special ritual bath where you don't see it too often in the world is that there is a path leading down and there's a separate stairway leading up. That way those that are impure won't touch the pure spiritually coming in and out. And the reason why they put it here is if you walk up to the top of this hill, you can see Jerusalem for the first time over the hills on a clear day. So we may be standing within 5 meters of the actual original path, and it's probably a few meters below us because of time. But this is it. This is where Abraham would walk. This is where Isaac and Jacob would walk. This is where millions of the nation of Israel would walk. And it's mind-boggling. I just think this place should be more than it is. I think Jews and Christians should come here and dip in this beautiful rainwaters all day, every day.
That's right.
And enjoy the beauty of Judea. I mean, look around us. It looked the exact same to Abraham when he walked here as well. The reality is, this is God's land. God gave this land to his nation. And you notice how this land flourishes now when we come back to it?
It didn't happen before, right? I think the battle is God said it. And you said in the beginning, spirituality. God said that this was going to be the land for the Jews, right? This was going to be the land for the Jewish people. They're going to come back here, and that's what the whole world, because there's this, what are they doing? They're hating God. It seems like they're like, God said it, we don't want it, right? And so that's what I think is beautiful is as you're walking in there, these children are walking in it, even if they don't even know it. They're 4, 5 years old. They're walking this path that Abraham walked, and they're walking right into the promise that God said you're going to be here. Yeah, and that's what the miraculous thing is here. It's like, it's ridiculous. We're close to Hebron. How many Arabs are there in Hebron that are saying, no, Jews cannot walk here, right? But what are they doing? They're walking here. It's like God said it. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter if the whole world decides what God says.
Absolutely. As I always say, the land waited for the nation to return, to meet it halfway in order for the roots to grow. I don't have to explain to you what it's like about roots growing. That's what you do. Your hands are blessed to be in the soil of this land every day. So when we return, the roots joined us. And the neatest thing about this country is, even after the family that we saw when we were driving past here, whose son was killed on the Lebanese border as an officer, a couple days after the funeral, I spoke to his mother. And I said, look, honestly, is this worth it? Your son was just literally killed by a Hezbollah rocket. They waited in a bush for 3 weeks to kill an Israeli soldier. Everybody wants to slaughter us. Is this worth it? It's an honest question. You know what this woman looked at me and said? She just lost one of her sons, and 4 others are combat officers as well. She said, Ben, asorit yaesh, it is forbidden to give up. My Lord, can you imagine? Because those children and the children that grow up here, faith is in their bloodstream. Whereas we, and I say me, I'm not saying you, we had to struggle for faith growing up. So for me to watch them and to watch them grow and to protect them while they do it and to help them in any way I can, just like you say, it's a blessing to be chosen for you. I swear it's a blessing for me to be chosen to be here as well.
I got a couple more questions.
Yeah, we want to get some more.
To a different location that we could actually take a look at or something.
Okay, so we'll pull over a little bit closer. We'll pull into that area.
Well, Ben, it's been incredible talking to you, and obviously we feel your heart connection to this place. It doesn't just, you see it in your face, see it what you're saying, you see it in your energy, like you got this awesome town car, you do patrols and stuff here. To me, it's like, it's I don't know if it was a boyhood dream for you in a sense to always be in security, but for some reason you're here, it's like it's become, you embody it, like it's what you do. But I want to go much deeper into that a little bit and just kind of talk a little bit about kind of like the families that are here. I mean, you were telling me just a second ago, just over this hill, literally over the hill is where the 3 boys were kidnapped. That was a tragedy that basically captured the attention of Israel, of course, but then the entire world was captured by that. And then kind of what was this community's response to that? And how do you explain that to your kids? I mean, you have 3 children. Like, how do you tell them, hey, there was these guys that kidnapped these 3 boys and then buried them in a field? Like, what do you say to that?
We actually just spoke about that yesterday. It's very interesting you mentioned that story because I just described that to my children. And in Israel, it's almost a rule, especially out here. I don't know about Tel Aviv and those areas, but out here, the children are taught the reality of what's going on as it happens. They don't hold back. The teachers explain to them if there was a murder, which there was, a boy named Ezra Schwartz was shot in the head on the street over this hill, right where the boys were kidnapped. And on that same terror attack, which I was at the back of the line of cars when it happened, a principal of a local school was killed in the same attack. And that school is on the same compound where my kids go to school. And what do you tell a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old? How do you explain that to them? Well, you would tell them precisely what's going on, what happens, and how it happens. This is the reality of the world right now. As beautiful of a life that we have, and as peaceful as it seems, There is evil. There is danger. I was raised that way growing up in Tennessee, and I don't necessarily always have to equate a gun with security and safety. Anybody can shoot a gun. But I always, in every picture growing up as a boy, I had a little pistol or a little BB gun in my hand. That's never left me. From the age of 12 and 13 in Memphis, Tennessee, with the anti-Semitism that we saw every Friday night, bottles being thrown at us walking home from the synagogue, every weekend. I wasn't a tough kid. I had to learn to become vigilant. And then I became kind of the protector of the neighborhood. And that really has morphed up until this day, whereas every single night, I don't have to. But I do have to in my heart. I have to come out here and patrol this fence line. I come out here 3 o'clock in the morning on the very path we're on, and it's so much fog you can't see 5 meters in front of you. And I'm still out here singing, and I've got my lights on. You know why? Because I tell myself, and this is not heroic, this is not Rambo at all, I want to be the first person they hit so my children can sleep. Because I know once that gunfire starts, or once that attack starts, every single man is going to jump out of his window if he has to in his underwear with a pistol or a rifle locked and loaded to protect the people that they love. Only because we want to live. So how do you explain to your kids that when we go to the Gush Etzion Junction, that guys, if something happens, I need you to cover your heads, and we practice. Cover your heads. We have to practice that in case the rocks start to fly, in case the bullets start to fly. But you have to be always vigilant, and you have to teach your children that as much goodness as there is in this world, and as much goodness that we have to give to each other and to our brothers and sisters, you always have to be prepared for the eventuality of darkness and evil. So I learned one more thing from at my friend's funeral that was killed in Lebanon, Lebanese border. His officer at the funeral said this, and it stuck with me every day when I go on patrol. Some of us have to live abnormal lives so the rest can live normal lives. And that's the way I see my life from the earliest of ages. I have to live outside of the comfort zone so they can sleep. And my nickname here is One Man Army, Ish Tzava Echad. And I like it, because why not? They should know that when they hear this town car rumbling past their house at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, they know Goldstein's out there, and they do tell me we can sleep better at night. And that's worth everything to me. I live by another line that is, see everything, admire nothing. So when you're in security, you have to see everything and not get it. You don't have to admire something walking past you. You have to see it all, but don't spend too much time focusing on one thing. The one thing that I have to focus on, which is only positive, only good, is unity, with a big capital U. Okay, that's the only university I've ever gone to, is the Unity University. And just like right now, we're spreading unity without any question, so too, every single person I meet is always with a smile and a handshake until I learn that that smile and that handshake is no longer welcomed. But until that point, I hand out cold drinks to the Arabs tending these fields. Cold 7-Ups and waters, and I get their names, I get to know them. It's always with a kind greeting, because I don't know who they are. I don't know what their past is. I don't know if one day they may rescue a kid that's out here and fell on his bike and can't. My own car has been changed, tires while I was out of town, my wife's car. The tires were changed by a group of Arabs in Neve Daniel, the community. In the middle of the winter, they told her to stay in the car. They wouldn't even accept money afterwards from me 3 weeks later. So at the end of the day, I try not to live in that fear, and I try to cut through the darkness, spread the light through unity. That's it. That's the message. Israel has to be a message of unity. We have to get out of this enclosed, introverted aspect of what we were used to maybe in Europe for 1,000 years. Out of that, what I call the ghetto mentality, and open ourselves up to this mass level of unity. And then I know redemption will come from all of us. No matter what that means to you personally or me personally, that is what I believe. And that's what I want to continue to spread.
Ben, is there anything, if people want to get involved to help in any way with what you're doing, is there a way to do that?
Absolutely. For the past 4 years, since the Gaza war, I used to walk through Hebron, just me, with bags of food and whatever else I thought the soldiers might need, and just go from station to station and hand it out to them. And eventually I came up to a soldier and I asked him, I said, okay, brother, what do you really need? I mean, how much Bamba and chips and colas can you possibly... He showed me his vest. He said, look at this horrible 2-piece vest systems, no flashlights on their rifles. Since then, I have had so many partners stand up shoulder to shoulder with me. I'm not an organization. There's no fees involved. I don't hand any money out to any staff afterwards because there is no staff. I pay for my gas with it, and I buy myself a shawarma with it. But what I do is I hand out now to these communities just like mine. projectors, these lights, these handheld lights by LED Lenser. And they are 3,000 lumens. They run for around 4 hours, and they just light up the night. And you can see out 700 meters. Stuff like that is exactly what I need for people that truly want to step up. Let's truly spread the light, all pun intended, by showing that we are all working on this together. So thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Because I am a one-man band, and I'd like to open that up a little bit. And the last thing I'll say is, look, we were all made, we're a 12-tribe nation, not a one-tribe nation. Each tribe had their own roles, and I learned from that as well. We all have our own roles, and we're all doing it. Thank y'all very much.
Thanks, Vince.
My pleasure. My honor. Thank you. Thank you. Yasher Fox to you as well. Thank you.
When the headlines say people died in Gaza, it breaks my heart because people didn't choose to die.
Perhaps, but they sure took the risk rioting in a closed military zone. It's like playing with a bomb and then complaining when the bomb goes off.
People were killed, they were massacred at the hands of snipers.
Massacre? An innocent family butchered in their sleep in the safety of their home. That's a massacre.
The majority of the media coverage on what's happening in Palestine and Gaza is very problematic. It talks about two sides, but that's not actually the reality.
So reality has only one side, right? Let me guess. That would be yours?
People have a right to protest.
True, but there's protesting, and then there's rioting. Trying to break down the fence, kidnap a soldier, and enter a Jewish town, and the Israeli response will be accordingly.
Snipers that have killed over 50 people in one day.
By people, you meant Hamas terrorists, right?
الجولة الأخيرة استشهد 62 شهيد.
People being killed by snipers, smoke in the air, people running away from violence.
If they're trying to run away from violence, I think they might be running in the wrong direction.
These are people who are demanding basic human rights.
I couldn't agree more. They deserve to have basic human rights. However, the authority to turn to in this matter would be the Hamas, chosen through so-called democratic elections and depriving the Gaza citizens of their basic rights ever since.
The right to move freely within their country and the right to return to their original homeland.
In other words, annihilating the Jewish state.
سنقتلع الحدود وسنقتلع قلوبهم. فلسطين عندنا كل فلسطين.
الامريكا وشكرا خليها تظهر عليهم تحرقهم حريق تحرق اسرائيل الكلام المسخين.
These innocent people remind me of darker stages in our history.
Share articles, share your thoughts about what's happening in Palestine. Don't be afraid and don't be silent.
Words to live by. Thank you, Linda. The truth should never be silenced. However, the truth is this. The Palestinians have aimed to bring down the Jewish state since May 14, 1948. We will not let that happen.
I guess that if you look around, you wouldn't imagine that you are just about 10 kilometers from Jerusalem. It looks like a great estate in Bordeaux, and yet we are near Jerusalem in Castel Winery, state-of-the-art winery and one of the leading wineries in Israel.
I had a plot next to the house, and one day I decided to plant it with vines. A really small plot. We made 2 barrels, and these 2 barrels made 600 bottles. That small plot next to the house, historically, will be the first plot in modern Israel planted in the Judean hills. Out of that plot today, There are more than 300 hectares in the high mountain of Jerusalem. Our terroir is completely different from the Upper Galilee or the Golan. We are completely influenced by the sea. So really we have something special.
The Judean Hills is high elevation. We hear it about 700 meters above sea level. It's always windy on some of the flats. It's very unique topography. We get wind from the west, from the Mediterranean Sea. You can see here on a good day, you can see Tel Aviv. And elevations start to ascend very quickly until we get to this vineyard. And it just brings good winds. We're looking for cool places in Israel. This is one of them. It's quite amazing that this vineyard is filled with fossils, reminiscent of the Tethys ocean that was here millions of years ago. And it brings a great minerality to the wine. Very unique subsoil of limestone. And just, we think, not only good weather here, good climate, but also very interesting soil that we see in the wine.
So down from the high mountains of Judea to the plains of Judea. We are now just facing one of the most famous valleys probably in the Bible, where King David and Goliath's story just took place. And here we are with Moni. Moni is a very interesting story. It's a story in the history of an Arab family who have created this domain, this winery, and surprisingly, is producing a kosher wine. So we are here to find this very unique expression which combines Jews, Arabs together in the Holy Land with Samson, with David, with Goliath. So all the heroes are here.
Here the Shakib Artur, the owner of Moni Winery, my uncles, my grandfather, and my father.
We know the history, we know that we are sitting on a history, and it's really, really important for us. In our area you can find a lot of microclimate. You can find a small valley where it's really, really cold during the night, and the water goes just from the hills down, and you don't have a problem because of it, and we can get a really good quality. Well, you can find here in our area the situation that our few religions are working together. We have a Muslim here at the vineyards, the owner is Christian, and I'm also a winemaker, I'm Jewish. It's really a big family of Muslim, Jewish, and Christian. We start to work with the new varieties like the Malbec, the Würztraminer, and a few other varieties that we are going to increase. And every year we are planting new vineyards because we are looking for the future.
So we are now in Yetkev Zion, Zion Winery, and we have an honor to have 5th generation of the Shore family, starting back in 1848, right?
Yes.
How is it to be with such a long history?
Because I feel the wine is my life.
So 5th generation, you started in 1848 in Jerusalem?
In the old city.
The old city, near to the Kotel? And
near to the Kotel, yes.
So there's absolutely continuity from 1848 all the way to 2015, of the same family producing wine.
That's right, yes.
How do you see the change?
The change is my grandfather don't make wine like I make wine. He make sweet wine.
So you had the imagination to leave the sweet wines to produce the first high quality dry wines.
That's right.
1848 is the 7th generation of the Shore family in the wine business. It was the first year when we started to produce wine. And I am the 7th generation of the Shore family, and I just go to the history and open a winery with a lot of history, what's called 1848 winery. The taste is totally changed like the world.
This area made wine for the temple for over 5,000 years. So really this is a historical wine region which had a rebirth now at the end of the 20th century.
is finally happening. We're setting the Guinness World Record for the world's largest Shabbat dinner ever. We're bringing together 2,000 people to celebrate a Shabbat meal in one place.
I think it's a fantastic event that Jay put together to bring people from all around the world together in one place to experience the holiness of Shabbat in whatever style, in whatever fashion, in whatever way they feel is most appropriate.
We've got a Guinness judge, a Guinness adjudicator, who is flying in especially from London to be able to testify that indeed we are setting this world record.
It's a brand new record. It's a challenging record because we require at least a minimum of 1,000 people to attend. And there are certain guidelines that they'll have to follow, certain rules, and that's where I'll be checking.
What amazes me is the first time ever in life that I've been in such a place where serving a catered meal, profit meal, for over 2,000 people in one place. It's amazing.
Well, you know, numbers are very important for Judaism. The Torah tells us exactly how many people left Egypt, how many people were killed in the book of Esther, how many mitzvahs we have, and so it's almost as if they anticipated that there would be a Guinness Book of Records. And so I want to be part. I wasn't part of the earlier events of Judaism. I want to be part of this record-breaking event. And then, next year, I want to be part of another event that breaks this record.
Tonight's event is for everyone, so we've got tons of families, we've got lots of lone soldiers, we've got lots of elderly people as well, so it's really going to be a cross-section of all Jews from all walks of life.
It's great being part of something bigger than yourself. Shabbat Shalom.